2 years, the World Series comes to Canada. It's one team that everybody saw coming, the defending champion Los Angeles Dodgers, and one that nobody outside of Canada saw coming, the Toronto Blue Jays.
And that's right, he hit 3 home runs. The greatest player had the greatest game at the right time. Oh, by the way, he had 55 home runs and 50 strikeouts during the regular season, so if Shohei Ohtani does anything in this series, capable of what he's going to do, the Dodgers have a great chance of repeating.
Dodgers have the best player, but the Blue Jays have the hottest player. Their offense has been awesome, and I don't know the last time I saw a guy as locked in this time of year as Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
No, he signed the huge contract. He was struggling at the end of the season, but don't worry. He's on fire in the postseason. He's carrying this ball club, and this ball club's pretty good. Statistically, it doesn't make sense. His average, his home runs, his RBIs, but guess what? Collectively, the team average doesn't make sense. If they stay hot, they're going to make this a great series.
And the key is the Toronto Blue Jays. For the Dodgers in their 12 World Series where they've started on the road, they've only won one time behind Sandy Koufax in 1963 as he shut down Maris and Mantle and the Yankees. And it would be a Dodgers sweep, the only sweep in a 7-game series prior to their championship series against Milwaukee. Tonight's same-game parlay is available now on FanDuel. It features Ohtani and a former Toronto Blue Jay and Teoscar Hernandez, who just got a great hand from this crowd. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr. seems like a pretty safe bet to get a hit. He's got 19 of them in this postseason to lead all players. How about this for Game 1 of the World Series? It is Trey Savage, who started this season in A-ball. He didn't even get to the big leagues until about a month ago. At 22 years old, he's the second youngest pitcher to start Game 1 of the World Series. You've got to go back to 1947 when a 21-year-old Ralph Branca started for the Dodgers at Yankee Stadium. Go get him, kid.
Yeah, go get him with that fastball and that splitter. And the first pitch of the game against Ohtani is going to be very interesting to see what he chooses.
The lineup that he faces off with for the Dodgers in Game 1 looks like this. And as you mentioned, it is Ohtani to lead things off. And then Mookie Betts at short hitting second. Last year's MVP Freddie Freeman at first base hitting third. The catcher Will Smith bats cleanup. Teoscar Hernandez in right. Max Muncy has hit more home runs than anybody in Dodger history in the postseason. Kike Hernandez and Tommy Edman have both turned it on in October. And Andy Pages, 27 home runs during the regular year, second only to this guy right here.
Yeah, I would think electric fastball. If you feel like you got a great fastball, challenge Shohei Ohtani because he's going to be ready to swing. And the leadoff hitter has electricity in his bat, to say the least. I don't know. I'm still deciding. I think first pitch splitter.
All right, let's see. Savage helped the Blue Jays go through the Yankees in the division series. Seattle in the championship series. Now in the World Series for the first time since '93. Dodgers sweep Milwaukee, trying to become the first team to repeat since the Yankees. Off we go. He went fastball and he missed badly with it. Ohtani went into the clinching game of the championship series, hitting just 158 for the postseason. And what changed? Dave Roberts said he got sick of hearing everybody say he couldn't hit anymore. Club 3 home runs and struck out 10. There's a fastball for a strike. Some guys hit 3 home runs in a game. Some guys strike out 10 in a game. One guy does both the same day. He leads off the World Series and pokes it foul behind 1-2.
Well, these Dodgers are going to try their best to get a look at something they never see, and that we'll talk about throughout the game is the release point and a split finger fastball that drops from the ceiling.
Yep, to see one of those yet from the Savage. He's over the 1-2. Sticks with the fastball. 6 feet 4 inches, the most over-the-top release point in the majors. He's only made 6 starts in the big leagues, and the huge advantage is the uniqueness and the unfamiliarity with it. Everybody's seeing him for the first time. Here's his 2-2. And there it is, the finish off Ohtani.
There's the release point, and there's the splitter that drops, and the hitters just don't see this. 7.1 feet at the height of release, and his fastball command is going to be very, very huge against a Dodger team that doesn't expand the zone that often, especially the guy at the plate, Mookie Betts.
Dave and Cheryl over there, his parents, perfectly calm. That is Betts taken down and away, ball 1. This feels like a key guy right here, John Mookie Betts. Most teams pitch around Shohei Ohtani. A lot of the big spots fall on Betts.
Yeah, and he's ready for it.
293 in this postseason, ahead 2-0.
He didn't have his greatest season. He lost a bunch of weight, got sick, and really battled his way back. But I think in the postseason, you're going to see a different version of the Mookie Betts that you saw in the regular season.
The only active big leaguer with 3 championship rings. Looking for a 4th. Swings and misses at that slider. And we talk about the uniqueness of the splitter. Slider is unique, too, in that it actually moves arm side.
Yeah, it's a downward break and doesn't exactly turn the corner.
Got the call there.
It's a hard pitch for the hitter to recognize, because typically when they see the slider, they're looking for that break away. But see how it holds its plane and goes straight down.
Check his swing. 3-2. There are 4 sliders in all of the big leagues that move like that don't actually break right to left. He's got one of them. And again, all these hitters getting their first look. The payoff to Mookie Betts. Bouncing ball. Jimenez.
So when you look at what you're facing, you don't see these kind of release points. That's what the average for Major League Baseball. And his is way above average. He's got a short stride, and they can't have a long stride and a tall release. It's almost impossible. So you got to have one or the other. And then that's what they're looking at coming out of his hand. And everything is at the same height. So that's why it's tough for hitters to recognize the pitch.
Megan Thee Stallion has been the most popular artist here as he's debuted. They play Savage in here on every strikeout. Freddie Freeman to the plate with 2 out, and he cracks the first one foul. World Series MVP last year. Of course, Game 1 is when he ended it with a walk-off grand slam. One of 4 home runs that he hit in the Fall Classic with 12 runs batted in. Has not gotten going in these playoffs, though. He's down 0-2.
Freddie Freeman loves the ball down, fastball down. So if at any point you get a fastball down that he fouls off, you foul it off with a split. That's going to be tough for Freddie. Also, he's riding a nice little 17 on base game streak.
One-two from Trey Savage. Bounce gently right side to Bo Bichette, and the kid has him rocking with a 1-2-3 first. Blue Jays come to bat against Blake Snell when you come back. Garrett, there's never going to have to pay for a meal in Toronto the rest of his life. George Springer ready to lead off Game 1 for the Blue Jays, with Davis Schneider getting a rare start with the left-hander on the mound hitting second. Then Vladimir Guerrero Jr. bats third. Bo Bichette, his first action in more than a month. Alejandro Kirk bats fifth with Dalton Varsho, one of the 2 left-handers in the lineup. Clement, Straw, and Jimenez with this long lineup for the Jays. It's Blake Snell for the Dodgers, who faced the minimum over 8 scoreless innings in Game 1 of the championship series. The last time somebody did that in the postseason, Don Larsen's perfect game in 1956. Game 7 hero leads off. First pitch to George Springer. Upstairs, ball 1.
Well, there's no better feeling of a pitcher when you're in rhythm and in groove. You don't care who you're facing. You're connected with all your pitches. And I think the same thing tonight. If his fastball command is on, it's going to be tough, even for one of the best offenses in baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays.
To short and Betts. Off one bounce. 1 out. A couple of changes to the lineup in this game. They have not seen much left-handed pitching in this postseason. And so for Davis Schneider, just his 4th start of the postseason, and right into that 2 spot.
Well, he's going to need a little better performance than he's had in the regular season against left-handers. You would think that would be his sweet side at the plate, but he has not put enough pitches in play against the left-handed pitchers.
He's actually been better against righties. Continues to get most of his action, though, against southpaws. Takes high from Snell. This is the whole matchup, though, John. It's Snell and the Dodger starters against this Blue Jays offense. While the rest of the teams have hit .218 in this postseason, the Blue Jays have hit .296.
Well, he has weapons, and the curveball that drops into the strike zone, he'll rarely throw it for a strike when he doesn't want to. Changeup that fades away from the right-handers, and fastball he can pitch to both sides of the plate, up and down.
Here's his 1-1 to Schneider. Fastball, get in on him, and a pop-up to Mookie Betts. 2 up and 2 down in this first inning. Here comes Vlad Guerrero Jr. Twice as many home runs as he has strikeouts in this postseason. I don't know the last time I saw a guy this time of year look this locked in.
Yeah, you're going to have a hard time getting him out up. You're going to get him out down. If you get him out, it's going to be down. That's the pitch right there. You got to get the changeup away, and you got to get the fastball in to just keep him guessing. If you stay in the same area, there's no chance you're going to get him out consistently.
Franchise face delivering high a dream of for a guy that signs the big contract, $500 million deal that started this season, kind of reignited hope around the Blue Jays coming off that last place finish. Season that starts with a big contract, ends in the Fall Classic. The 1-1 from Snell. A little high, ball 2.
Yeah, you saw they're trying to get him that pitch in. He did not. So the hitter doesn't know unless he can look back after the pitch and think that that pitch was in. He just thought maybe that's going to be up. Establish in, change up away.
On a 2-1, Guerrero takes in the dirt. And that's been the whole thing watching him. If you're out of the zone even by an inch, he's not budging. No. You come in the zone and he's hitting it a mile.
Yeah. A spinner right here in the middle of the zone, he'll launch a ball. A pitch away, he'll take it to right center.
Oh! Change up, taken for a strike. Come on back. 3-2.
2 change-ups perfectly placed. And in a 3-1 count, you can just sit there and kind of spit on it as a hitter. Now you got to be aware that he's hit that spot twice.
Snell kicks and fires a payoff. Guerrero chops it down the line foul. He threw a career-high 38 of those change-ups against Milwaukee. He said that he felt like the Brewers were on his fastball, sitting on that, and so he goes to the change-up, but varied the way that he threw it. He threw it as hard as 89. He threw it as slow as 79.
Yeah, it's just good touch right now, and his mechanics are so locked in, and that's why it's fun to be a pitcher when you're feeling like this. I mean, right now, he's already hit every quadrant on Guerrero in this at-bat.
Another payoff. Taken for ball 4, and the Jays have the first base runner of the game. And how about the ovation you're going to get right here? Who last played on September 6th when he injured his knee at Yankee Stadium. Not only is he back, he's plugged right into the cleanup spot. John Schneider said you could call him in the middle of winter and ask if he's ready to hit, and he said, you betcha.
That's going to be the theme tonight, though. Even though he's missed a lot of time, they're going to pound him in, try to tie up his hands. Now, he likes it middle in. So it's strength against strength, and then what that does is if he pounds it in enough, he can get him out of way. Same thing with Guerrero.
The 1-0 from Snell. Bichette takes inside ball 2. He was a .311 hitter during the regular season. Only Aaron Judge had a higher average. Hitting's feeling fine. Running's feeling fine. Playing him at second base for the first time since he was in the minors. Just took a little bit of stress off him, as opposed to his normal shortstop position. The shut on 2-0. Looks at ball 3.
Trying to establish his fastball in. He's quick with it. That means he's feeling good, and being quick, you pull it inside a little more than you want to. He's trying to hit the inner part of that strike zone and has missed on the first 3.
A green light and a runner that'll sneak through for a base hit into right field. Guerrero heads for third. Hernandez is through. not close to in time, and the Jays have him cornered in the first. Welcome back, Bo Bichette. Guy can fall on a bed and hit.
Typically 3-0, you might think about pulling this ball, but he saw a side of the infield that was wide open. And he gets a hit. And right away, the theme again for this series, runners in scoring position, 2 outs. They do it all. They score a ton of runs with 2 outs. They score a ton of runs with runners in scoring position. But they're facing some nastiness for the Dodgers starting pitcher.
One-of-a-kind catcher of the Blue Jays right here, Alejandro Kirk. First and third, 2 out. First inning of game 1. Snell continues to be around the zone of the fastball.
Well, he needs the top of the zone for the fastball because he pitches so comfortably up there, and he hasn't gotten any of those calls yet. That one right there could have gone either way.
Really dangerous high fastball hitter right here in Kirk. Fan favorite. Fouls it off, and it's 1-1. Unofficial captain of this Blue Jays team more than once. Alejandro has been stopped by stadium security on his way in and visiting parks. They're saying, what are you trying to do getting into the clubhouse? Well, I'm a player. I'm an all-star player. Might not look the part, but the dude can flat out play. Trying to get the Jays on the board first. He's ahead 2-1.
Rushing his fastball just a little bit. And this is a good meeting right here by Will Smith. Just getting him to relax a little bit. Look, a week off and longer for this pitching staff since they won.
Old school, John. We're throwing it back the way these Dodger starters are going deep into games. 7 innings after 7 innings. Got a complete game thrown in there. The first one in the postseason in 7 years. Meanwhile, the Blue Jays, the highest average team, the best bat-to-ball team. Don't let that make you think these are a bunch of slap hitters, though. They also lead the majors in home runs in this postseason.
Yeah, they do it all. And listen, when you don't swing and miss a lot, you put the pressure on the other pitcher to make great pitches. Now, you can make great pitches and get quick outs and go deep into the game against this offense, but you better make great pitches consistently.
Snell gave up just 1 base runner against the Brewers in Game 1 of the championship series. Already a couple here in the first. Ball 3 on Kirk. A left-handed batting Dalton Varsho's on deck. So you're being careful right here with Kirk, knowing you got lefty-lefty kind, or going right at it?
Absolutely careful. Absolutely. The lefty should be a tough at-bat against Blake Snell.
On 3-1, Kirk. Fouls it off, 3-2, center cut curve.
Well, with that bum knee, a little extra opportunity to get running. With Bichette here with 3-2, 2 outs.
Kirk will ask for time. Now, the Blue Jays have had this offensive machine, even though Kirk has not done a whole lot in this postseason at just .222.
Blue Jays are the best 2-strike hitting team in baseball.
And he's the best of the bunch. Payoff from Snell. Fouls it off, and we'll do it again.
But this is going to be the recipe for success. You see all those first categories, and what they'll do is they'll drive a pitch count up. Even though they're an aggressive team, they foul off the good pitches, they take the bad pitches. And right now, they got 20, this will be the 23rd pitch.
Yeah, no matter what happens, they've won this half inning by driving that pitch count up. Because the whole thing, the Dodger bullpen is not close to what this rotation is. It's not been exposed because the starters have gone deep so consistently. If the Blue Jays are going to win this series, chances are they're going to win it against the pen. Can they get there? 24th of the inning, 8th to Kirk. Is shot down the line, peeling, foul. Just can't put this guy away. You're talking about how good he is with 2 strikes. Give you a little context on that. The league average with 2 strikes is 170. Alejandro Kirk, 270 with 2 strikes. Most guys would take that average, period, regardless of count.
Yeah, he only has an 18% miss rate on the breaking balls against left-handers, so that takes the left-handed weapon and just basically tells you he's staying on it. He doesn't miss much inside as well, and he loves hitting the ball on the outside part of the plate.
On the 9th pitch, Kirk takes ball 4, bases loaded. What a chance for the Blue Jays in this first inning against Snell. And he has just cruised through this postseason. 3-0 with a sub-1 ERA. These 25 pitches, the most that he's thrown in an inning in his 4 starts. So here's that lefty-lefty matchup we were talking about against Varsho.
First pitch is so key. Bases loaded. He's missed with a lot of his fastballs.
Misses with a curveball. This looks like a different guy so far.
Well, on the road, and like they said, that rest. When he clicks in, though, and this is the chance here with 2 outs. They've done a lot of damage on the pitch count, but a hit right here would go a long way for this crowd that's been standing the whole first inning.
Varsho watches a curve find the zone. Darton Varsho went into Game 7 of the championship series and 3 for 24 slide. John Schneider said, I got a feeling this guy's about to turn it around. And he went 2 for 4. Knocked in their first run in Game 7. Golden chance for the Blue Jays. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
Well, the angles of which Snell throws make it so tough on anybody, but really tough on left-handers. He's going to have to make a mistake with his breaking ball if Varshaw's going to have a chance because of the angle that he comes in, and we'll show you later why his arm swing is so hard to pick up as a hitter.
The 1-2. Another breaking pitch is flied into center field. Andy Pages comes on, and Blake Snell gets out of this bases-loaded jam, but the Jays force him to throw 29 pitches. The World Series comes to Canada, putting the world in World Series this year. Game 1 is underway. All kinds of stuff thrown in there.
I think he'll have a permanent home next year, but you've already seen, again, that's 4 sliders in a row now. Fastball usage is going to be low.
Munciano shoots one to left field, a base hit, and the first one of the game for the Dodgers. Max Muncy, who's just 1 for 12 in the championship series, has a single to put him at first and second.
He gave a high sign for a slider that I don't know if he's actually trying to throw the slider up there, but that's right down the middle and no break at all. And Max Muncy's not going to miss too many of those. He's lucky he's a single. This is the part of the lineup that if they produce at all for the Dodgers, they're going to be really hard to beat. This is part of the lineup hasn't produced as much as the Toronto Blue Jays bottom part of their lineup.
2 on, 1 out, Kike Hernandez. Very high with a fastball. Their October ringer right here. Hernandez, who is a below-average hitter during the regular season. We're talking more than a decade in the majors, who just transforms when he gets into October with a line in the postseason that's almost identical to Reggie Jackson. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Now, the one thing over the last couple years that you could do to Kike Hernandez is get him to hit a ground ball double play. He's hit into quite a few of them.
Jays have turned a bunch of them. That's up the middle and through. Base hit center field from Hernandez. Teoscar Hernandez comes home. The Dodgers are on the board first. Kike Hernandez again getting the job done in the postseason. And it's the bottom of the order for the Dodgers, getting the game's first run.
Another slider over the middle of the plate. You cannot live there with the Dodgers. You cannot. And he's going to have to make an adjustment. When the Dodgers realize he doesn't have his fastball or not willing to go to his fastball a lot, they can sit on the off-speed pitches.
What a swing right there. Blue Jays had bases loaded against Blake Snell, could not cash in. The Dodgers, half inning later, have the game's first run. And Tommy Edman taken inside for a ball. Tommy Edman is a switch hitter that occasionally, very occasionally, will bat righty-righty, and he does that here to try and take away that splitter. It's only the 4th time all year that he's seen a right-hander from his side. Former Blue Jay Teoscar Hernandez scores the first run of this fall classic. 1-2 on the high fastball.
Yeah, he's got to have that pitch. I mean, that fastball is going to set up a lot of other things. And up until this hitter, that's the first time 2 in a row in a while.
Muncy at second, Kike Hernandez at first. And a 1-2 from Trey Savage in the dirt, count evens. The run in the bank, the Dodgers looking for more here in the second. On a 2-2, Edman. Taps it along third, and no play for Ernie Clement. An infield single for Tommy Edman to load the bases. The Dodgers doing their best Blue Jays impression here, putting the ball in play and putting the pressure on.
What a total change of the bottom of the first to the top of the second. And speaking of the top, he just hit the top of that baseball. The Toronto Blue Jays got a chance to break open their lead, and now they're worried about a crooked number here. And this meeting at the mound is going to be like, got to attack this hitter because the next hitter on deck is not fun.
Superman. Super 6. Play the Fox Super 6 MLB Playoff Challenge. Download the Fox Sports app right now and enter for free for a shot to win your share of $20,000 in cash prizes. See the Fox Sports app for details.
Good breaking ball hitter in Pages. He also loves hitting off of left-handed pitchers.
The Pages has really struggled in this postseason, just 3 for 35. Dave Roberts pulled him aside a few days ago and said, enough grinding in the cage over mechanics. Just be a hitter. Aim for the middle of the field. And seemed to turn it on after that conversation at the end of the championship series. The Dodgers think he's ready to take off after a breakout second season where he hit 27 home runs. Dodgers with their own bases loaded chance. Pages down 0-2.
Haven't seen the field for that splitter. Only 3 of them so far. Bit heavy slider usage.
Pages looking for his first hit with a runner in scoring position in these playoffs. This Dodger offense has not really gotten it going. It's been the pitching that's gotten them here. They're only averaging about 3 runs per game. The 0-2. Taken in the dirt. A walk and 3 singles in the inning. Ohtani looms on deck. That's the only guy that hit more home runs than Pages on the Dodgers this year. The 1-2. Popped out of his hand and the count evens. So Blake Snell's bottom of the first has become Trey Savage's top of the second. Already 23 pitches thrown. And now a 2-2 to Pages. Misses downstairs and misses his spot even worse.
This field right now is not connected, and it's showing. Normally in the 0-2 count, the hitter would have been put away already. I understand the Dodgers are a different team, but mechanically he is just not connected with his release point.
3-2 on Pages. Nowhere to put him with Ohtani on deck. Here it comes. He struck him out. Slider gets Pages 2 away.
Well, he saved his best slider that really took off down.
Well, here we go with the bases loaded. It's Shohei Ohtani. Struck out with a splitter his first time. Fastball sneaks by.
Got to crowd Ohtani, and you got to get him up out of the zone. Don't leave one mediocre in the zone.
55 home runs during the regular season. On the zone, he takes a slider down. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kid that started the season in front of 300 people in Jupiter, Florida, faces Ohtani in the World Series. Falls behind him 2-1. Scary proposition to have to battle back into the count against him.
Yeah, and again, we showed you the release point when he throws his split, but when he's up that high up a release point and you're behind that ball, you got to get down through it. That's what creates the depth and the movement, and it's almost coming out of his hand and popping up high and not having the true effect.
Grounder, fair. Guerrero beats him to the bag, and the Savage limits the damage to 1.
So now that he's healthy and now that he's connected, when he doesn't throw a ton of pitches, he's going to go deep in the game, and he's proven it what he's done already in the postseason.
You said in Tampa Bay early on in his career, he got by on talent alone. San Diego, we watched Yu Darvish go about his pregame preparation, fell in love with that side of it. And then it all came together for him last year in San Francisco. Check swing, hit the bat at strike 3. That's a foul tip for strike 3.
Fortunate there. He held his swing, but just barely nicked the ball.
Just to wrap up that point about it all coming together for him in San Francisco, Logan Webb, who is the modern workhorse, he told him, he said, look, dude, your stuff is great. You just got to be in the zone more with it.
Yep.
And he's put that all together this year. Springer with a cue shot to first. Freeman has no play at second. Turns and throws to first. It's not in time. Throw to third. They got him. Wow, the ball getting tossed all over the diamond. First, Freeman looks to second. Then he goes to first. And back across the diamond for a second. They're looking like a high-level Little League game. But they get Ernie Clement and Blake Snell with an adventurous first couple innings. But no damage against him. Still have not chased out of the strike zone.
That's what makes them so good, and that's why you have to make quality pitches. About 7 of the 9 guys in the lineup. There's a couple guys that they definitely will chase, but majority of them don't.
Still no bite. Ball 3 on Smith.
Ball's outside. I mean, if he had a feel for his split, this would be the time to break it out. But we have not seen that pitch as much.
Came into the game, opponents were 5 for 42, 24 strikeouts against his splitter. His payoff is poked through the right side, a base hit for Smith. Here comes Betts. Straw's throw goes into second, and they've got Freeman hung up. Here comes the tag from Clement. We're running back to the bag. It is 2-0 Dodgers. Will Smith drives in Mookie Betts and heads into second there with Freeman tagged out for the first out of the inning.
Freddie with a rare base running error. And this is just, again, good hitting by a Dodger team that has really put the Savage in a tough spot. And Freddie went past the bag thinking there might be a throw home, but it wasn't. And this is a good play by throwing it right to second base, and now he's stuck.
It's been an edge for the Blue Jays, and Every series they've played in, the defense really good, has been all year. This has been the hardest year of his career for a few different reasons. He missed a lot of the year with a shoulder injury. He was away for 4 months. Comes back in August. He makes 4 starts. They were pretty good. Then he gets sick, so sick that he passes out and has to spend overnight in the hospital. It was weeks before he felt like himself again. But he said, at this point, this is early September, I could find an excuse or I can go figure it out. Figure it out he has. His last 6 starts, end of the regular season into the playoffs, 5-0 with a 0.68.
Yeah, that's dealing.
And solving something that the Dodgers won the World Series despite not having much of last year. It was mostly bullpen with the Dodgers run to the World Series last year, but that's all been flipped around.
Well, they knew that they used their bullpen so much last year. They were going to have to go get a couple starters. They did. They relied on them, even though the regular season didn't work out that way health-wise. It has in the postseason.
8th pitch to Kirk. Swatted towards the right field corner. Hernandez turns and watches this one. Hit off the wall. Holds him to a single. Teoscar guns it in. And Kirk, who has many wonderful traits, speed is not one of them, settles for a leadoff single.
Running it bad again. He just did not swing outside the zone and then finally was able to keep running. Fair.
Jays fans are saying, wait a minute, we watched you streak in from second to score that run in the championship series. What we got? Varsho in the air to center field. Pages going back. Turns, watches, and it's gone! And tied! Dalton Varsho locks game 1. It's one of the left-handers that bites him.
Yeah, he just guessed right. First pitch fastball, and he let it eat. That jacket has gotten a lot of use in the postseason. They hope it's going to extend well beyond what the stitching in that thing holds it apart. But that first pitch fastball, he just went and attacked. Straightaway center, no doubt about it. And we got a new ball game.
First home run that Blake Snell has given up to a left-handed hitter all season. Tied at 2 in game 1. Ernie Clement sends the first one he sees into center field. Pages calls out Fernandez. 1 out.
Now all the pitches that they were seeing, this is the first one on the first pitch. And that couldn't have been better timing. I thought the left-handers were going to have an extremely hard time against Blake Snell. Well, he said, I ain't waiting around to find out.
And a snapshot of this Blue Jays offense right there. First World Series game here since Joe Carter's walk-off in '93. Top of the order for the Dodgers. Shohei Ohtani takes a strike from Mason Fluharty.
You got to stay out there. Don't leave anything middle in. The homers he hit off of left-handers are breaking balls that stay in and don't catch the outside part of the plate.
Fluharty, a rookie, gets a chase, 0-2.
That's what you got to do. And he's had more strikeouts this year than usual. Expand the zone way up or way out. And don't leave it middle in.
So Fluharty in this rookie season got 1 save. It was at Dodger Stadium back in August, and he struck out Ohtani as part of that. They're short on left-handed options out of that pen. The top one right here. Both of these bullpens concerns. 5.50 ERA for the Jays bullpen.
That's a great curveball right here that just tried to get him to bite.
The 1-2. Ohtani takes outside and the count evens. Ohtani's 0 for 2 in this ball game after his epic clincher in the championship series when he had about a quarter mile of home runs. Strike 3 to the knees. Fluharty strikes out Ohtani.
Well, you know he's coming in facing the great one. He got 2 quick strikes, and he's like, oh, man, now what? And threw 2 curveballs away out of the zone, and Ohtani thought that was low, and it might have been.
Dalton Varsho's home run in the 4th inning has tied this game 2-2. Blake Snell to Bo Bichette. The changeup taken downstairs. The Blue Jays have gotten 5 hits on that pitch tonight. That's the most that Snell's given up on the changeup in his career. Bichette in his first game since September 6th. Tries to lay off the change and does. Ball 2.
Bichette's looking for that middle in that he hasn't seen. Everything's been in off the plate or away. That's why he's hit 2 balls to the right side of the infield. If he gets one middle in, he's looking to launch and pull.
2-0. 3-0.
Great patience for a guy who hasn't seen live action in a long time. Simulation games only can do so much. Tracking baseballs can only do so much. In-game live action. Trusting your mechanics.
Now the green light to try and break this tie. Pitcher's pitch, 3-1. Mark Pryor on the bullpen phone. Emmett Sheehan has grabbed the ball. 88 pitches for Snell. 103 his last game. Full count. Bichette, Kirk, and Varsho for the Blue Jays here in the 6th inning. They'll do the same thing they did in Game 7 of the championship series. Come back and win it. A leadoff walk for Bichette.
Well, when you want to see Snell, these are the hits that he's given up. And a lot of them on those changeup that you're talking about. There's the fastball, the one that's red right down the middle, but the other one's in the zone, and they did a great job. Some of them soft hit, some of them hard hit. But they have pushed Blake Snell to the limit, and probably his last inning at 90 pitches, and Bichette's going to get the old pinch run to job well done.
That'll improve a couple things here with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa coming in. Obviously the base running, but also the defense into the late innings. Alejandro Kirk. Go-ahead run aboard for the Jays. Kirk bounces one through. Base hit right field. Kiner-Falefa stops at second. Kirk has been on all 3 times in this game. Go-ahead run into scoring position.
We're going to get a mound visit. Another great piece of hitting from Kirk, but I wonder in this situation, even though he hit a home run, Varsho, I wonder if we see a bunt here. After a 2-run homer, could there be a situation where a guy bunts?
Well, Toronto is aggressive as any team when it comes to sacrificing. He does not have one this year. He has 5 in his career. Statcast powered by Google Cloud. His 2-run home run in the 4th inning, his 3rd of the playoffs.
Right down the middle, perfect swing, exit velocity, almost 110, and that ball was peppered off the back wall.
Dalton Varsho, Gold Glove center fielder, but here in his 3rd season with the Blue Jays, he's added the offense to that as well. 20 home runs in less than half a season.
Now, if he's not bunting, which he probably won't, I wonder if you can go up there and sit on a breaking ball, because I don't know if you're going to get a first pitch fastball after what just happened.
Sheehan's ready. And Varsho, even though it's a tough lefty-lefty matchup, now 5 out of 10 against lefties in the playoffs. IKF at second, Kirk at first. Muncy in at third. There was a curve, but it wasn't close. Blue Jays instant pressure all postseason. 366 leading off. Oh, tied him up with a fastball, but it missed.
He's behind in the count. This has got to be a 2-0 slider.
It's a curve and it's dumped back.
Get him back in the count right there. 2-1 breaking ball. But Marshall was ready for it.
Ernie Clement waits on deck. Sheehan's ready. 2 on, nobody out. A 2-1 from Blake Snell. Varsho swings and misses. 2-2. There was the slider.
That was a tight slider right there in the zone the whole time, but never really. Look at that tight spin. Just breaks away from the barrel of the bat. Try to guess as a hitter where you think that pitch is going to be.
Yeah, everybody standing. 2-2 on the way. Varsho fights it off. Fathers and sons, we know about Vlad and Bo Bichette. Dalton's dad, Gary, was in the big leagues. Named him after his old teammate. And Darren Dalton. Another 2-2. In the dirt, and it's full.
Well, this is more than likely going to be the last pitch for Blake Snell, unless he gets a double play ball here. So if you're Blake Snell, you're like, what pitch can I make perfectly here on a 3-2 count? Almost made it.
Pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Great job by Varsho to stay alive. Jays doing what the Jays do. Just so hard to put away. Blake Snell was getting misses on about half his swings in the postseason coming in. That's down to 20% tonight. Go ahead, run at second, 6th inning. Another 3-2. Curve is drilled down the line. Foul. Pitch. Could be his last. Varsho paid the price. Or would have put him on anyways as ball 4. And the Jays have loaded the bases against Blake Snell with nobody out. That's the last pitch that Snell will throw. And a guy who is historically dominant the first 3 starts of this postseason meets a different kind of match tonight. The Dodger bullpen forced into this game earlier than they're used to this October. Game on the line here in the 6th. Sheehan for Ernie Clement. Tie game, bases loaded, nobody out. Chopper foul. Had to get that out of the way. You knew Ernie was going to be swinging.
Absolutely. And Emmett Sheehan, he throws 100. I mean, the ball comes out of his hand and explodes. Started him off with a first pitch slider. These are the situations I say a ground ball to short is a double play, but it's a run. Making contact is what Toronto does well.
Middle infield back, corners even with the bags. Clement switches one through. Blue Jays take the lead. Station to station, 3-2. Ernie Clement delivers again.
There's just something different about this team when runners get on. Hyper-focused, yeah. Committed to their plan, yeah. But making contact and taking advantage of pitches that don't break out of the zone. Doesn't mean they're going to go on and win the series, but everybody who thought that this was going to be a fairly easy series for the Los Angeles Dodgers, you're you're getting an example of why it won't be.
And the biggest key, go back to what we talked about at the beginning, will be for the Blue Jays to get into this pen. With a 29-pitch first inning where they did not score, they got the ball rolling. I'm getting that pitch count up. Snell leaves the game with nobody out in the 5th inning. And our pinch hitter is going to go up there for Miles Straw. This is Nathan Lucas.
You wonder how decisions are made and how decisions based on situations change. And the Dodgers were a moment away from kind of blowing this game open. They could have at any point, but because they only scored 2, it allowed John Snyder to use his pen and this lineup to stay in the game. And now they're a hit away from getting some serious breathing room.
And the Jays like what they have coming off of the bench with a righty in the game now. Lucas, normally their 2-hitter. Swings and misses at a good slider. .333 in the postseason. One of the breakout stars this year, out of the middle of nowhere, Lucas. On an 0-1. Fouls it into the glove. Fastball at life.
Yeah. Now, same approach here. Again, a ground ball minus to the third baseman will score another run. Kirk's going to have to get a bigger lead than he's getting at third base, though.
Here's an 0-2.
Lead at third. If they hit a ball hard to an infielder, they're going to throw him home, throw it out at home, rather than try to turn a double play. With Muncy that far off the bag, he has to at least get the distance between third and Muncy's distance.
You're saying even the middle infielders could come home with it?
Absolutely, if he hits it hard enough because of the lack of speed out of Kirk.
Another 2-strike pitch. Lucas leaves it up.
And at this point, runs are a premium, even though the Dodgers know that 2 runs or less, they're well within the game, and their strike offense with power can get them right back in it.
Kirk at third, Varsho at second, Clement at first. Sheehan's 1-2 pitch. Almost hit him. Lucas ducked that knee down there. Lucas pinch hitting for Straw. The 2-2. It's bat-to-ball lineup. He has the highest contact rate of any of them. Nathan Lucas spent a decade in the minor leagues. Said he was this close to hanging it up. 31 years old, getting his first real shot this year. Bases loaded, nobody out. Another 2-2 pitch.
Based on the way that he's attacked the first 2 hitters, look for this 3-2 pitch to be a slider, I would think. Fastball command not great, hasn't thrown as many fastballs. Looks like he trusts his slider.
Fastball popped up. Muncy over. Same time, same place. Kevin Gausman for the Blue Jays. Yoshinobu Yamamoto for the Dodgers.
There have been 28 foul balls by the Toronto Blue Jays. If you don't think those add up, they do. You see a lot more pitches.
Now another 3-2. He's walked in. And it's 4-2 Toronto. Kirk can walk home.
He's glad he's walking home. Wasn't that 0-2? Yeah. 0-2. Baited. A walk. I'd say that's one of the highest quality at bats Lucas will ever have under these circumstances.
Infield is in here. Jimenez is up. Rakes it foul. So the Blue Jays have scored 4 unanswered, tying the game on Varsho's home run in the 4th, taking the lead here in the 6th. 2 hits, 2 walks, and a hit batter. Top of the order after Jimenez. He's down 0-2.
So you're saying they got him right where he wants him.
When they were down 2-0, they had him right where they wanted him, right? The way this has gone for these Blue Jays, these two teams tied for the most comeback wins in baseball this year. And she ends 0-2. Sheehan did not pitch during the championship series. Dave Roberts only had to use 4 relievers. And this pen has been covered up by the long starts. Base hit to right field from Jimenez. Again, 90 feet apiece. 5-2 Blue Jays. Bottom of the order, telling the story once again.
They're tough at home. They're just hung in the zone. They're tough with runners on. And if you talk to their manager, they're tough, period.
Six straight base runners to start this inning for the Blue Jays. 4 of those 6 had 2 strikes on them.
0-2, he had him where he wanted him. This kill pitch has been hard for these Dodger pitchers to put the hitters away.
And now with the bases loaded, they've got Mr. Postseason coming up here. George Springer, Manny Ramirez, Jose Altuve, and then with 23 home runs, George Springer, 3rd on the all-time list.
Well, he is loving these situations. He's super aggressive. First pitch, he hasn't had really one to kind of crank on, and I'm sure that mound visit was a reminder of, hey, look, make a quality pitch, you can get a ground ball, but if you don't, he's going to be ready to swing on the first pitch.
3 of his 4 home runs in this postseason have come on the first pitch. Bouncing ball left side. Betts had a hard time getting it out of his glove, but he does in time to come home for the first out of the inning mercifully on the 7th batter faced.
And he did. He made a good pitch and got the ground ball. I mean, that's what's possible against this team, but you've got to execute. And that little bobble might have cost a possible double play.
So that's with a nice play. Another pinch hitter's coming up here. John Schneider sends up Addison Barger. Yeah, and a team full of guys feeling good. He's right up near the top of the list. 353 with 2 home runs his last 5 games.
If you want to see a hard swing, and we're going to have to wait to see it, this guy can swing hard.
And then gets heated. They call him Bam Bam. Bam Bam's going to face Jack Drive. 5-2. The Blue Jays have broken the tie with 3 runs here in the 6th. It's actually Anthony Banda in for the Dodgers to face the pinch hitter Barger. Lays off ball 1.
Here's what Barger wants to do, knowing who's on deck. Fly ball, and even a strikeout's not the worst thing in the world. You just don't want to hit a ground ball double play. And he knows that. He's going to try to lift the ball and keep it off the ground so he can at least guarantee Guerrero up.
Fouls off that high fastball. Down to Tom Verducci.
Dodgers, as you know, Joe, the top swing and miss team in the National League this year. This inning alone, 15 pitches thrown with 2 strikes, no swings and misses, all runners reach base.
Barger ahead 2-1. The bullpen depth lacking for the Dodgers. And they go to Sheehan, who hadn't pitched since the division series. Gave up a run in all 3 games that he pitched in the division series. Comes in here, struggles. Barger sends a towering drive. Right center field. Kiss it goodbye.
a situation where his teammate might come up with nobody on. And that grand slam. Wow. I mean, this is a high breaking ball. And we talked about him. You want to see a hard swing? That was a hard swing.
Guy that he pinch hit for. And if you're unfamiliar with the Blue Jays, just learning about them today, just watch this 6th inning. Watch the bottom of the order set the table. Watch guys come off of the bench and deliver. Watch pesky 2-strike hitting. And then watch power hitting. It's all rolled in together. It is the Blue Jays who put 9 runs on a Dodgers staff that gave up 4 in the entire championship series. They've batted around. Into shallow center field. Here comes Pages. That's down.
And we saw a little bit of this against the Yankees. Their ability to explode and get the crooked number. One swing got a crooked number. In the 4 spot. This obviously is not going to change who the Dodgers are, but it does change the narrative of how dominant the Dodgers have been. It's only game 1, and there's 3 more innings for them to bat, but this is what you wanted if you're Toronto and you're a Toronto fan, to at least show we're pretty good and we can score. Can we defend the great offense that the Dodgers have?
9 runs on 12 hits for the Blue Jays. Connor Falefa sends a fly to left field. Kike Hernandez. Connor Falefa, who came in as a pinch runner earlier in this inning, gets an at-bat in the same inning. It's Kirk, who had a single, it seems like forever ago. Perfect night going for the Blue Jay catcher. 2 singles and a walk. 2 runs scored. The Blue Jays have as many hits as they have swings and misses.
Yeah, it's incredible. This guy fits the mold so well, though. You know, underrated, maybe undersized. And there's your first pinch hit grand slam in World Series history. Wow.
Here's the high drive off of the bat of Kirk, sailing back there to center. Does it have a nephew back? Double digits for the Jays in game 1. What a statement from Toronto.
Like I said, he's the perfect guy to talk about what the Toronto Blue Jays kind of do. You walk off the bus, you go, he's like,
he said, I'm going to need a tailor for this.
A 9 spot.
I don't remember too many 9 spots in a World Series, I can tell you that.
Fly to shallow left field. I mean, this is mind-blowing right here. A Dodger pitching staff that gave up 4 runs in 4 games gives up 9 runs in 1 inning. Addison Barger has his place in history with a pinch hit grand slam in the Fall Classic. They've been waiting 32 years for this. Oh my gosh, they're saying tears are flowing in game 1 in Toronto. We're back after a local word from here.
Yeah, that was not a good 2-0 pitch. with a 9.9-run lead to throw a 2-0 breaking ball.
How about a 4-pitch walk?
Yeah, that's not going to get your manager in a good mood because there's no reason for that.
T-Mobile, the best network in the game, is now the best network in America.
You get a 9-run lead, you got to make them hit the ball all over the ballpark to get on base.
Pages is 0 for 2. Braden Fisher, former Dodger minor leaguer. Well, the fathers and sons here in Toronto. They also had Kevin Biggio, who was traded to the Dodgers, and the return in that trade was Braden Fisher. 7-0 as a rookie this year. Big Reddy's 0-1 to Pages. Is upstairs, 1-1. The 9-run lead also, really for both sides at this point, helps you go to the underbelly of your bullpen. Reserve the top arms for game 2 tomorrow. Yeah, the Jays had to come into these 2 games saying we got to take one of the 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look like they're on the way to doing that.
Yeah, they protect home. I mean, I know they didn't do it against Seattle, losing the first 2. And then they came back and won the final 2.
94 wins this year, first division title in a decade. Getting to the postseason was only part of it, though. They've done that. They just haven't won in the postseason any time recently. Strike 3 on Pages. In fact, it's their 4th postseason trip in the last 6 years, but they hadn't won a postseason game in a decade. They had lost 6 consecutive playoff games. Wild card round sweeps, 3 straight trips. Chris Bassett getting ready. So the first thing was just getting that monkey off of the back, winning 1. Bullied the Yankees in the division series. 7 games over the Mariners and a blowout to this point in game 1 of the World Series against Ohtani and the Dodgers. Shohei in this game 0 for 3 and has struck out twice.
They're going to see someone equally as nasty from the right side tomorrow with the Dodgers, Yamamoto. So what they did to Snell, they're going to try to do to the great righty.
Well, you figured if the Jays were going to win this game, they'd get a really good start from Trey Savage, but they're looking at doing this even though Savage had far from his best stuff and only went 4.
Correct. And again, like you mentioned, the lead in the game really takes some stress off of managing some high-leverage guys. They brought in some of those that held fort. Now they got some breathing room.
Fisher to Ohtani with a 1-2. Shohei sends his apologies down the line to anybody that foul ball scared.
Really got to be careful with the amount of breaking balls that he's showing Ohtani in the middle of the zone. It cannot stay there. It's got to go to the back foot and down.
Left it there, hit in the air to right field. Back it goes. It is gone. Yeah. Sky scraping home run from Shohei Ohtani. Left it over the plate, and Ohtani didn't miss.
Just can't do that to a great hitter.
That's the fastest run around the bases I've ever seen. Right on the heels of Tommy Edman. 4th home run the last 2 games for Ohtani, and it's 11-4.
You just see it coming, and it rolled right there perfectly for him, and that swing has been done a lot this year. Is that over 60 now?
That is 61.
Okay. Well, now it's a 7-run lead.
And we talk about easy decisions for John Schneider in the bullpen. Probably doesn't have to get a whole lot closer before that shifts the strategy. Although even seeing Chris Bassett, that's a guy, wouldn't you put in the bucket of higher leverage, even though it's only been a couple times? Or is he still
yes and no, just because of the lack of times he's been out there. And this would be a good chance to get him in there. And then you can use him as the series goes longer. If it does, you can use him in the back end and just feel more comfortable with his reps.
Still a good chance to kind of validate what you've seen so far. Converted starter is awesome in Game 7 out of the pen. That's one around, 2 out.
There's the difference. You got to get that breaking ball down below the zone. And you show these great hitters the same pitch over and over and over again. If you don't make this kind of pitch right here, success rate's not very good.
Freddie Freeman has a walk in this game, but is 0 for 2. Pitching staff that have been untouchable breaks in a big way in this game, and an offense that has not really clicked. Still have. Look at the home run from Ohtani on a meatball. But this offense has averaged just over 3 runs per game since the start of the division series.
I'm just amazed that guys that have a 97-mile-an-hour pitch, it's a show pitch. Because, the numbers say, oh, you got to spin it, throw your breaking ball, throw your cutter, throw your slider. He's got 97.
Yeah, keep him honest. And everybody that comes in seems to have it. Ball in! One-touch Freeman climbs the ladder to get to that. In right center field, Barger to finish off the top of the 7th. Ohtani goes deep, but the Jays still with a bunch of breathing room as we stretch. 9 for the Jays in the 6th. You get 9 runs in a game, you're going to win 100 times out of 101. 11-4 in Game 1 as Chris Bassett looks to finish it off, and on one pitch gets pop-up here. Kirk with room. Edman retired like that. I said Bassett, it's actually Eric Lauer that is coming to the game for the Blue Jays. Left-hander, another guy who was a starter for a good chunk of the regular season. And one of the few left-handed options they have down there.
Pretty good record there, 9-2.
Pages.
Magic number 5 is typically what you hear about the Toronto Blue Jays. You get to 5, I think they only have 4 losses on the year.
They got to 11. Coming into this postseason, they had 4 double-digit scoring efforts in their postseason history. This is the 4th time in their 12 games this October that they've scored double digits. 11 runs on 14 hits, 3 of those home runs. Ball 2 on Pages.
This game started similarly to the Game 1 against the Seattle Mariners, where they looked a little rusty early, hadn't scored any runs, and didn't score many at all in that game against the Mariners. In fact, the first 2 games did not.
Pages into right, hangs up for Barger. 2 gone in the 9th.
But then they got it going on the road, and when they get it going, they can go.
One of the lone bright spots of this game, Ohtani's 6th home run of the postseason. It merely made it a little bit closer, but inconsequential. this as the series goes on, but part of the reason for the boos for Ohtani is that they were pretty sure they were getting him.
Oh, yeah.
And down to these two. Flowers 0-1. Ohtani takes the ball. We don't need him is the chant. What's interesting is the offer was right around what the Dodgers made, $700 million. If that deal happens, chances are Vlad Jr. doesn't. $500 million that they wanted to spend on Ohtani went into that man's pocket. It was the first sprinkle of magic in this 2025 campaign. Walk for Ohtani. And it brings up Betts. They said Shohei gathered all the gear that they had laid out. They put together a little locker for him at the team facility on his official visit. And they're watching out the window as he leaves. And his dog's got the Blue Jays dog jacket on. He's got a bag full of Jays stuff, a hat and a jersey. And they're thinking, oh my gosh, he really dug it. And John Schneider's joked with him the last year. We haven't seen him. Hey, when are you going to give us our stuff back? Well, you don't get to keep that Jays hat. Painting was a gift. I'm taking it with me. Oh, it's close to a pickoff. Babe Ruth was once caught stealing to end the World Series. And the modern day version. Pretty darn close. They're going to challenge.
Ball at first base.
This one would be a little more forgivable than Babe getting caught stealing second. Game 7. Replay review presented by Zoom. Calling the field is that he is safe. Do we get an overturned call and a pickoff to end game 1? Why not, says John Schneider. He took our hat. We're going to try to take the game. Game 4 of the World Series in 2013.
Runner is safe.
Was picked off. Ohtani will not join that reel. He's safe. It was close, and he knows it.
It was just a good move. He wasn't trying to do anything. Matter of fact, he kind of stepped back and thought he was going home and then came to first.
0-1 on Mookie Betts. Hitting a walk in this game for Betts, but a run scored. The run that he scored in the third inning made it 2-0 LA. 11 straight for Toronto. ready for the splitter tomorrow. Kevin Gausman, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Two guys that throw it as much as anybody.
Nasty ones.
Pitch for the playoffs. Dodgers familiar with Kevin Gausman from his days in the division with the San Francisco Giants. Yamamoto did not pitch in that series in August. Two to bat. On the hands and out of play. Only 4 innings from Trey Savage in this game. Grinded through it. Held him to 2 runs. Flew Hardy, Dominguez, Fisher, Bassett, Lauer to finish it. Statement made by the Jays in game 1. They pull 11 on this dominant pitching staff.
A lot went right. They got their superstar Bichette in the game for 6 innings. He contributed. There you see the stats on a sweep versus 7 games series.
Well, we mentioned that the 4 times that one team swept a series and the other played 7 met head-to-head in the World Series. The team that did the sweep 0-4 in the World Series. Not just 0-4 in the World Series, they've only won 2 games total in those 4 World Series. John Schneider's team just keeps on going. 11-4 over the Dodgers in game